The left is turning up the heat on the incoming Biden administration, calling for, quote, bold and immediate action to cancel student debt. Now, they argue it would stimulate the economy and also address the racial wealth gap. It seems President-elect Biden is on board. He recently said it figures into his plan for the economy and expressed support for the HEROES Act.
The legislation passed by the Democratic House calls for immediate $10,000 forgiveness of student loans. It should be done immediately.
And it's not the first time he's said it.
I've already called for immediate canceling of a minimum of $10,000 of their student loan debt now under this crisis and allow them to borrow so they can cope with this crisis.
While the HEROES Act has a $10,000 cap for loan forgiveness, Senators Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren are pushing for more, up to $50K canceled.
It is something that President-elect Joe Biden can do upon taking office without Congress.
This is Dr. Suzanne Kahn with the Roosevelt Institute. See, the federal government owns about 92% of student debt. Kahn is not alone in arguing that Congress gave the Secretary of Education, part of the executive branch, the power to cancel student debt through the Higher Education Act of 1965. But others argue canceling student debt is a type of federal spending, and only Congress has the power of the purse. Biden canceling student debt himself would likely open the door to lawsuits and could set the tone for the relationship between Congress and the new president early on. But it would be
$200 to $300 back in the pockets of 45 million Americans on a monthly basis. And that, I would argue, would have a stimulative effect.
Stimulative? Sure, but good policy? The broad critique is canceling student debt would benefit richer people more who need the help less, making it a weak economic stimulus. But let's break it down. As of this September, Americans had roughly $1.7 trillion in student loans. And according to a Brookings Institution analysis of Federal Reserve data, more than 70% of monthly student debt payments come from the top 40% of income earners. Plus, the pandemic hit people without college degrees the hardest. And 2/5 of student debt is held by households with graduate degrees who make up less than a tenth of unemployed Americans. So if the government forgave $50,000 across the board, a lot of that money could be going to folks with high-paying jobs that transitioned well to work from home. And take this, students with the lowest debt, but also the lowest incomes, are having the most trouble getting by. The Urban Institute found that people who owe less than $5,000 are more likely to default than those with the highest debt amounts. They're also more likely to live in neighborhoods with more people of color and fewer college graduates. So a $10,000 cap could be more targeted and impact the people who need it most right now. Dr. Kahn adds this is also about racial justice.
20 years after starting college, white borrowers have paid off almost 95% of their loan, and the median black borrower still owes 95% of their original balance.
So that's the debate over who should get relief. But what about its broader impact on the economy? If $10,000 are forgiven on a loan with 10 years left, that would free up about $100 a month. Not exactly an immediate boost for the economy. If Congress wants a quick boost and cash in the hands of those who really need it, another option is to simply give people cash they can spend right now, like the last stimulus. The question is, do we use the current crisis we're in to address a crisis we've been having for years?
As we deal with the immediate crisis response, we can't lose sight of the longer term. When we come out of this, we can't just go back to business as usual. We need to build a better, stronger foundation.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.